Okay, here we go.
This meeting is being recorded.
I'm going to go back to this slide to welcome everybody, just so that when this is recorded and people look at this on our YouTube channel, they can view everything here. So we are here to support our members who want to age in place. And I'm going to zip to this slide. There was somebody heard about the village to village movement, which is baby boomers getting together and deciding we need to do something because, you know, we might not, there's a lot of us. There's 10,000 people turning 65 every day, and that is going to be the case until around 2029. So there's a lot of us. This movement started in Massachusetts. You can go on to v2vnetwork.org to check out. There's a map of the United States, shows you where all the villages are. We're one of hundreds of villages all over the United States. And it's just people helping each other. You know, it's just neighbors helping neighbors. It's a wonderful opportunity. Oops, I'm not showing the slideshow, darn it. Here we go. So once there was some people heard about this movement, we jumped on board. They have lots of resources. You can go to Starting Your Own Village 101, and they'll walk you through how to start a village. So if you have an in-law or your mother or father or grandparents live somewhere, you can go to the Village to Village Network website and look on the map and to see if there's a village in their area, and they might be able to help some people out. Right now we have about 309 members, 16% are grant recipients. We have 224 volunteers, 98 of them are member volunteers, 126 are non-member volunteers. And we now have 4 employees. We just are shifting right now. We have a new ED, Selena. So some of the information may not have her name on it, like the volunteer handbook that I just sent out. I noticed doesn't have her name on it yet, but she is our new ED, and Tracy is now she's the program director. I'm the program manager, and then we have another lady that helps do lots of odd jobs. So we are really happy.
Say, what does it mean when you have 309 members, but to have grant recipients as a member? What does that mean, the 16% grant recipients? Yeah,
so some of our members are in situations where they can't afford the fee. So it's $360 for a couple for a year, $240 for an individual. And if the person can't afford it, then they can apply for a grant. We just chose to call it a grant versus a scholarship years ago, so that's stuck. So 16% of our membership are people who are receiving either partial or full membership through MedHout Home. Does that clarify it? Okay, so types of volunteers. When you signed up on our website, and if you haven't done so, please do so. You saw a list of things that you could sign up for, and there's lots of opportunities. There are also some specialized services. We took over the Guardian Angel program from the Cove a few years ago. This is a program that matches one-on-one with our members. So we have some members who are very vulnerable people and just need a little extra care. Some people like this option for volunteering because they're focused on one person. The expectation is that you spend at least 1 hour per week. So it's only 4 hours per month with this person. You can, you decide with the person what you do. So sometimes our guardian angels will take people to appointments or go for walks with them, regular phone calls, just we have one that doesn't drive, so she lives right in Twisp. Her guardian angel lives in Twisp. So every 2 weeks, I think, they go to the grocery store, the post office, all the regular things like that. It's a great way to really connect with somebody. And they report their hours a little bit differently than a regular volunteer. They only have to do it once a month, and then and that's taken care of. So we have the Lookout Coalition is also part. It's an arm of MedHow at Home. They're a group of retired doctors and nurses who will do home visits for people who are vulnerable. I often will recommend Lookout Coalition if I find that a member needs some extra care. I've heard from some members that they've never had so much care in their life. People that are like 70 something and saying, I've never had anybody spend the time with me like a Lookout Coalition person has. So we really appreciate those people that are part of that. We have a MedMate program. MedMate program is you're trained to take somebody to a doctor's office and take notes for them. We only take in about 25% of what a doctor says when we go to an appointment. So this is really helpful for people to have somebody take them to appointment and take notes for them and then go over those notes with the member. We have a smoke detector program. We have a group of people that are trained to check people's smoke detectors. The ACP is the Advanced Care Planning. That's part of the Lookout Coalition. The fire mitigation, we have people that help people with their, they're going to their house and making sure that, branches and tree branches and just making sure it's fire wise. And then there's, we have phone buddies, shovel buddies, walking buddies, and things like that. So if any of these programs interest you, you could shoot me an email and I could give you more information about that. And then there's committees and board service if anybody is interested in that. Any questions about the types of volunteers? So typically a task takes from 1 to 3 hours. You agree to only perform the service that you're assigned to. That being said, let's say you came to help somebody, maybe there was something like a little latch needed a little tightening, and then they say, oh, well, could you also tighten this little thing over here? Something like that I think is fine, but generally, stick to the task that you were asked to do. Volunteers may not pick up prescriptions without the member being present, administer medications, and lift someone. And this is always a little tricky. People say, well, what do you mean you can't lift someone? If someone falls and they can get up by, if you get on your knee and they can get on, grab your knee and then get themselves up, then that would be one thing. But if somebody is flat and they can't get up at all, just with a little bit of assistance, then you just need to call 911. If you have any questions, just intercept. Okay, so how a service request works. The member reaches out to MedHow at Home. They can do that through our website. They can do it calling MedHow at Home. We're open from 9 to 3, Monday through Friday. Somebody manages the phone. We're a virtual village, so we all work from different places, but the phone is routed to the person who is on a phone duty. They also can email us. So when the request comes in, somebody wants their lawn or their walkway shoveled. It comes in, I put it on Club Express. If you signed up to be a shovel buddy, you will receive an email. You will not receive an email for every request that's out there, just the ones that you signed up to do. Unless I get really desperate. If I can't find anybody, if nobody responds, let's say there's let's say there's 15 people that said they'd be shovel buddies and nobody responds, then I expand the search. And sometimes I end up choosing every volunteer we have just because maybe somebody has time to go over and shovel for them. So that's when you'll receive another email. If you can assist, just respond to that email. It says, hey, I can do this. If not, just delete it. But wait until I notify you. Like I will, so let's say somebody says, yeah, I can shovel for Tom. Then I will email you back and say, great, call Tom and tell him. Wait for me to do that. Sometimes there's some confusion because somebody will get the request and then they go and call the member right away. Well, it might be that I've already chosen somebody else. And so just be sure you notify that I say, yes, go ahead, call the member. Then you're going to call the member to make the necessary arrangements. And then we ask that members not call the volunteers. Now, I put some exceptions here. We have some members who have shovel buddies. And so I have given their buddy's number to the member. So the member will call the volunteer and the volunteer goes over there and shovels for them. Then the volunteer shoots me an email, say, I went over and shoveled, took me 30 minutes. I drove 2 miles or whatever. And so that's when the exception is when I've given the member because they need to call the volunteer for a specific task. Okay, having fun is really important. Spending time socializing, you're going to meet some wonderful people. You know, it's really what I've loved about Meadow at Home is meeting all the people that I've met. I've met so many people. I lived here for 20 years before I started working for Meadow at Home, and I am just amazed at all the wonderful people that I met that I didn't know. You think you know a lot of people, and then it's like, wow, I don't really know very many people. So notice any changes or red flags. We're going to go over that in a minute. After your service, you're just going to email after your service and include your time, including your driving, your mileage, and any notes. So if there's anything that you notice, or if you have a nice story or anything, everything goes into our website. Everything is recorded. So we keep track of everything. Okay, red flag situations. If you notice changes in their mental state, all of a sudden they can't remember things, you show up and they don't even remember that you were supposed to come. Any changes in physical health, maybe you notice that they smell, or they just don't seem to be functioning very well, walking very well. Maybe you went there before and they were walking fine, and then all of a sudden you notice they've got a limp, or any changes, let us know. Yeah, just not being really nosy, but you can inquire without being seeming like you're super nosy, and then inform us, if you notice any changes. And the referrals is our Lookout Coalition. So that would be something I would do, not something that you would do. But if you were to call me and say, I really noticed these changes and I'm really worried about them, then I might reach out to the Lookout Coalition and have them get in touch with the member, see what's going on. Okay, policies and code of ethics. Yeah, just, with your own experiences, just, keep that to a minimum. Yeah, please don't share any information about, their members' lives. The confidentiality is really important in all interactions that you have with the member. You can share it with a staff, Meadow at Home staff, but we ask that you keep all their information. They're trusting you with a lot of information. Sometimes they're people are lonely, you're having a cup of tea, which is great. But keep that to yourself. It's really important. Again, we're not going to give out your personal contact. And
Kendra,
not
this is Julie. I have a question.
Mhm.
So if you call a member, then they will have your phone number and they will have your personal contact information, right?
That's true. Yeah. But we don't share that. But yeah, you're right. They are going to have it. We haven't had a problem with people calling volunteers when members become members. We do have a handbook, and it does say in there not to call the volunteer.
Okay.
But yeah, you are right. We ask that you don't accept gifts or loans or anything from members. If somebody wants to give you a cup of tea or, some cookies or something like that, that's fine. But, and also gas, we have gas reimbursement for out of Valley, but not in Valley. So if you go out of the Valley, keep track of your miles and you just shoot me an email and you can get reimbursed for that. It's not a lot of money, but it's a little bit. But sometimes a member will try to convince you to let them pay for the gas, and you just have to decline. And of course, call the office if you have any concern about their safety. Please put these numbers in your phone. Meadow at home. Me, Tracy, or Selena. And let me know if I want you to be sure you have, are you putting these in your phone? Or you can write them down right now and put them in your phone later.
I think I'll just take a photo.
Yeah, good idea. Anybody not ready for me to move on?
Just a second.
Oh, sorry. Okay, now how do I go back? Oh, geez. Okay, hold on.
Yeah, I need to get that last number too.
How do you go back? Oh, I see. Okay, wait. Okay.
I believe the arrow keys can also help you navigate through the slideshow.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we got it.
Okay. I'm going to try the arrow key. Ha, it worked.
All right.
Yay. Okay, so getting up from the floor, just remember that call 911 if they can't move. It's pretty obvious. This is a little helpful trick that I found. If somebody is not very mobile, you can put a plastic bag on the seat, and then they sit down on the plastic bag, and then they just swivel, and that helps to make it easier for them to get in the car. And then you could help them with their seatbelt. So it might be nice if you had a plastic bag in your car that you could use it, but not, I mean, we haven't had to use this very often. I did use this once, but I don't think very many people have used it, but it's just a nice little trick. Okay, so boundaries. How are we doing on time? You guys need a break or anything? Guess we're doing okay. Okay. Yeah, so it's just really important as being a volunteer for Meadow at Home that you do have some boundaries. You're going there representing Meadow at Home, and we just want to make sure that everybody is really clear about boundaries. Okay, so I'm going to read you a scenario, and if you wouldn't mind just I'm going to read it and then I'm going to give you some time to think about this. I'm going to stop sharing here for a minute. Go back here. This meeting. Okay. All right. So any other questions up to this point? Okay.
How many?
All right.
How many?
So I'm
members-
going to read a scenario. What's that?
How many
What's that?
members? How many members?
We have about
Okay.
309.
Okay, but how many people call and request? Because some members don't call and request for assistance, correct?
Yes, we have a lot of members that are just supporting members. They're members, but they have
Right.
never asked for a request. They just want to support the organization. How many requests do we usually get? About, I'd say 40 to 60 requests a month.
Okay, okay.
The beauty about it
Okay,
is
thank
that you don't have to sign up weekly or monthly, or, it's not a regular thing. You're just going to receive this email. If you can do it, then respond. If you can't, you just delete it. So there's a lot of flexibility in volunteering for Meadow at Home.
I was just confused because you used the label member for both kinds of people.
We have members, and then we have volunteers, and then we have member volunteers. So for instance, Julie, who's here, she is a member, and now she's going to become a member volunteer. Does that answer your question?
I could talk to you about it later. That's okay. Just go on.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to read a scenario to you, and I want you to think about it and maybe write down a few notes, and then we'll discuss it and see whether you think the boundaries have been crossed. Can you hear me all right? Because some of you are breaking up.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. So Nancy is a volunteer driver who regularly drives Anne to doctor's appointments in the last year. They've gotten to know each other and they have a lot of fun talking together. Nancy's husband, Sam, also a volunteer and a computer whiz, has picked up Anne's request for tech support many times. He likes helping Anne and listening to her interesting stories. Unexpectedly, Nancy has to attend an important meeting at a time she agreed to give Anne a ride to her doctor's appointment. Since Nancy's husband knows Anne, she asks him to drive her. Sam is happy to do it and invites his 10-year-old grandson to come along. He thinks it'd be a great intergenerational experience for him. Were boundaries crossed? So just think about it for a minute. Maybe jot some notes whether you think they were crossed or not.
Right. With drivers on their own, they got to report back to the office.
I agree.
They're not going to do it with the grandson.
Okay. So let's open it up. Maybe just raise your hand or something so I can call on somebody if you have an idea. Like, how many people thought the boundaries were crossed? Just put your hand up.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
and how many people did not think they were crossed? Okay, so I'm just going to open it up, like just maybe put your hand up and I'll just to make a comment of why you think they were crossed. Okay, 20, or what's your name? Sorry. Jola, is that right? Joella.
My feeling is, I think it would be more appropriate for Nancy to have called Meadow at Home and said that her husband was going to switch. And then at that point, it could have been brought up that he wanted to bring the grandson. But
Okay. Other thoughts?
Well, I was just thinking if it isn't run by Met How at Home and the client, that it probably isn't appropriate to change things. So maybe it could be okay, just so long as everybody was consulted. That would be my take.
Yeah, thanks, Sonia. Other thoughts?
I think that Met at Home should have been consulted about the grandson thing, because the Met member might be concerned about germy little kids. I mean, we don't really know all of where they're coming from on that.
Yeah, thank you.
I think that the wife should have let Met How at Home know, or ask if it would be okay for the husband to do the driving and make sure that the person they were volunteering was okay with that. And I actually don't think it's appropriate for the grandchild to go.
Thank you.
I would agree with Julie on
Michael?
both of those points.
Ditto, those were my two concerns also.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think that everything should just go through Met How at Home, and the grandson should have been left out of it. You know, maybe he gets his experience with grandma and grandpa instead.
Okay, yeah, I think those are all really good points. I read this to Tracy this morning to see what she thought too, and you know, definitely Met How at Home should be contacted. My other question would be, is her husband signed up to be a driver? You know, has he turned in his driver's license and his insurance card? You know, that would be really, really important. As far as the grandson goes, yeah, I mean, there'd be issues with that, especially if they're going to Wenatchee and the grandson, oh, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to do this, or, you know, and then they're late for their appointment. I mean, it might be okay if they were in Valley and the member agreed that would be, oh, I would love that experience. Maybe they don't have grandkids in the Valley, so that might be a fun experience. I don't see that it would be a huge problem. Volunteers have to use their car. We are not, we only have insurance for volunteer cars, not for the members' cars. And members, even though members know this, I've had discussions with members about this, they'll still try to convince volunteer to use their car. So that is a no-no. They're not allowed to use the member's car. So the volunteer would have insurance for the 10-year-old, but okay, thank you. All right, so let's see, let's do another one. Irene is a volunteer and Joanne is a member, and they're a great match. Sometimes they play Scrabble together, sometimes they just talk. After 2 years of connection, they've shared a lot about their lives and their families. One afternoon, Joanne tells Irene that she's feeling very bad as she had a big fight over the phone with her daughter. Joanne's daughter, who lives in Boston, doesn't want to speak to her mom anymore. Irene has heard a lot about Joanne's daughter and about the ups and downs of the relationship. It looks like this time the situation is more serious, as Joanne is really in distress. Joanne asked Irene if she wouldn't mind calling her daughter just to let her know that she loves her and would like to talk to her. Irene has worked as a mediator, so she feels she can do this and goes ahead. Have boundaries been crossed?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think that, you know, sometimes when we have a profession and we know that we could help out, you know, it might be a little bit hard for somebody to not just go, oh yeah, you know, I can help in this situation because I know how to do this. But I think that that's definitely crossing the boundaries. Okay, how about one more? Okay, so you arrive at to take somebody to an appointment with a doctor, and the member asks if you can come in to hear what the healthcare provider says, because sometimes it can be confusing. What should you do?
Depends on what kind of a volunteer you are for that person.
Right.
Well, if you're not signed up to be a medmate, do you think it's okay to go into an appointment? Somebody asks you to do that?
No.
No.
No,
It sounds to me like, I believe you mentioned that you needed to have some training to go to an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Yeah, we have a medmate program. You know, I guess, you know, I was just thinking about like I was thinking like a podiatrist or somebody that, you know, maybe it wasn't but an appointment that was a serious kind of thing. But then they probably wouldn't be asking you to come with them. So, okay.
So you're taking them to the appointment, but is the appointment not going to be, I'm going to say, satisfactory to the patient if they feel like they're missing out on a lot of the information? I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, I
Well,
don't know.
maybe a solution would be that if you decide to drive people to appointments, you should decide ahead of time whether you want to train for the MedMate partnership and only drive people that you are allowed to do that with.
Would
Yeah.
you be assigning someone to go take someone to a doctor's who had not had MedMate? Wouldn't you pick someone who's had the MedMate training to take them?
No, if they don't ask, you know, when I talk to people who want somebody to take them to a doctor's appointment, I often will ask them, you know, would you like to have a medmate to take notes during your appointment? And if they don't say yes, then okay, fine. So when, you know, we really have a shortage of drivers to Wenatchee, and we have several members that have eye injections that they have to have, and, you know, so with a situation like that, the member would let me know whether they want a medmate or not. Okay. Any other questions about
But
that?
if you sign up for the MedMate training, then you're not connected with individuals. It's anybody who asks for that service you could provide. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And generally, it's the Lookout Coalition people that end up being the medmates, taking them to doctor's appointments. But we just have a short list of people that are medmates, and it doesn't come up that often. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the slides. Okay. So here's some dangers of being with boundaries, that members can have unclear expectations of volunteers, start to expect special treatment from volunteers. They go beyond what's appropriate. And then over-investing in others through loose boundaries may translate to a lack of self-care and compassion, fatigue. That hasn't really come up too much. Our guardian angels go well beyond the call of duty. Not all of them. Some of them are pretty good about sticking to the 4 hours, but we have others that have a really special relationship. They've been at their guardian angel for years and years and years. And sometimes they will reach out to us and say, you know, I don't know what to do. I'm so invested in this. And, you know, this has just gone beyond what I can handle. And then we try to get a team together and try to troubleshoot and figure out, you know, how we can support that person. But it's just some things to think about. Signs of boundary violations, spending extra time with one member beyond assigned volunteer task. I mean, it's okay to, you know, go and do something for somebody and have a cup of tea. I mean, socialization is really important. You know, just the people, a lot of our members are isolated and lonely and want somebody to talk to, and that's fine. But just, you know, be aware of that. Feeling Med-Out home staff and other members don't understand a specific member as well as you do. You have this relationship with this person and you know, are feeling like that, you know, we just don't understand them. So that would be a violation. Disclosing your personal information and problems to a member. And ignoring our policies, personal safety. Yeah, trust your judgment. You're representing the organization. Call if you're unsure. You can maintain boundaries and form friendships with members. Any questions about that? Okay, so I'm going to stop with this and I'm going to share. Let's see. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So this is our website. If you're a member, you're going to log in up here as a member. If you're a volunteer, you're going to log in here to volunteer self-sign up. But you're going to see the same thing. After the volunteer training, when you're completely vetted, your references have been checked, your background check, everything is cleared, you'll receive a login username and password. And so you'll get in and you'll see things a little bit differently than just somebody going to our website. So again, volunteers are going to go here. If you're a member, you're going to log in here. I'm just going to log in as me. Okay, so first you're going to go up here and you're going to go to your profile. A little bit different. And you are going to down here. You'll see this in your profile. You can put a picture, you can put all kinds of information about yourself. But down here, your website functions, you're going to go to volunteer self sign up. So this is the same place that the volunteers, the same thing that they're going to see. So here, you're going to see open requests. These are requests that are open right now. We're looking for people to, snow shoveling right now is big, as you can imagine. We're looking for somebody to, a walking buddy for this man. He has some memory issues, and so his daughter just wants somebody to walk with him. He's a really sweet guy. So these are open requests. These are now these will be your completed requests. Okay, and then these are requests that you've committed to. You can also, here on this weekly schedule, you can see this will be your availability. So if you're never available on Mondays, then just unclick those, just put in your schedule of when you are available. If you're going to go on vacation, click here. You're going to be gone for a few months, then I don't have to worry, I see your name pop up. Your name won't pop up, but you can put in here the start date of your vacation, the end date of your vacation, and that way you won't be chosen for any of those service requests while you're out of town. Okay, any questions about that? We have lots of fun things, and this is our upcoming event schedule. The Zumba was canceled today, unfortunately, just too much snow. We have our 7th anniversary gathering. That's you can click on this to find out more information. You can register right here. You can find out who all's going. You can request transportation if you're a member. So these are all open to volunteers and members. All of our events are open to you all. Okay, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Okay. Any other questions? Did any of you not receive the volunteer handbook?
I don't think I did.
Okay,
I don't
I'll
think we
make
did.
sure you get that. Okay. I might just attach it to an email later, but just making a note of that.
I don't think
Yeah.
I did either.
Okay. All right. I'm just going to send an email to everybody and attach it. And that way everybody, because I don't know who else got it and who didn't get it. So any other questions? This was a little bit quicker than I thought it was going to go. I wasn't sure how long that slideshow would take. So normally it's an hour, but I thought, well, I better do an hour and a half just in case.
How
I'm gonna
long
stop
does it,
sharing here.
how long does it take before you know you're a volunteer and your background check has been cleared?
Yeah, good question. You will receive an email from me with your password and username. When you get that, then you know you've been completely vetted. So you have now completed everything. You have all your paperwork in, and so I'll be sending those out right after this training. The people that I have all the information from. Some people I don't. I don't know.
Okay.
Jeanette, I don't have everything from you. Any other final questions or comments or anything? No?
Nope.
Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, just reach out, call us. We're available.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Jill.
Deirdre.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Deirdre.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Deirdre.
Take
Thank you.
care. Have a good day.